In the lead up to the holiday season, U.S. retail sales saw stronger than expected growth in September. Shoppers are also looking to spend more this holiday season. A recent Deloitte survey shows consumers plan to increase their spending by 8% compared to last year. However, amid all the spending, Americans are increasingly worried about missing a minimum debt payment during the next 3 months. That's according to the New York Fed. Here with more on the wallet shift for consumers is VantageScore CEO and President Silvio Tavares. Silvio, it is good to see you. So always look to you, Silvio, for a read on the consumer. You know, we are in earnings season. We heard from the big banks. Of course, big tech is on deck. But interested to get your perspective, Silvio. You have access to that credit data. When you're looking through that, what do you see? How healthy, how strong does the consumer look to you right now?
Well, the consumer looks healthy, but the reality is there's definitely risk on the horizon. Both banks see it and consumers see it. According to our monthly VantageScore credit gauge indicator, banks actually throttled back on new credit accounts in the most recent period in September across every major loan category: credit cards, auto loans, personal loans. Every category, banks cut back. And consumers really see risk as well on the horizon. They're cutting back. For example, if you compare September credit card balances to August credit card balances, in September, they actually decreased slightly. And part of this is just the upcoming election. Consumers are uncertain about what's going to happen next. And banks are also uncertain about what's going to happen next, and they see risk on the horizon. The two presidential candidates have very different economic policy agendas. And so basically, both are basically taking a pause.
You know, when we talk about the consumer, Silvio, you know, obviously it's not one consumer. There's many kinds of consumers, you know, low income, middle income, high income. What kind of differences are you seeing?
Well, you know, that term we all learned during the pandemic, that K-shaped recovery, well, that's definitely made a comeback. If you look at the experience of millennials, older affluent consumers, they're doing just fine. In fact, you could see that in the monthly credit gauge. The average overall consumer credit score is 702. 300 is the worst score. 850 is a perfect score. And so overall, you see the average consumer credit health remaining pretty healthy through September, mostly driven by those older consumers, you know, those born after 1965, what we call X. Now, on the other hand, younger, less affluent consumers, they are actually struggling. And in fact, they're continuing to struggle even more in the most recent period. We saw delinquencies across all credit products really increasing for those younger, less affluent consumers. And really what's driving a lot of that difference in experience is whether you're a homeowner or not. If you're older, you own your own home, you've got a cushion there, you're not exposed to inflationary pressures. Younger folks are not homeowners typically, and they are struggling with the increased interest rates and the very high rate of inflation that we've seen over the last 24 months.
You know, Silvio, the Fed already cut once, delivered that outsized cut. We have any number of strategists. Had one very smart strategist today on the show who said, you know, listen, they continue to believe they're going to keep cutting because inflation just is not where Jay Powell wants it to be. How much of a tailwind potentially is that for consumers, including the consumers you're highlighting as facing more challenges?
Well, it's definitely a tailwind, but the reality is it does take some time to hit. And we saw that in the September numbers, right? You know, September was when we saw the Fed cut rates. And we had expected some more lending or a pickup in lending and actually, quite frankly, an increase in demand among consumers. But actually, that didn't happen. And so that's quite notable. So I think the Fed is going to look at this data and they're going to really have to think about whether they do a more aggressive rate cutting. But the reality is there's some challenges with cutting rates too aggressively. You don't want to be in a position where you reignite inflation. So definitely a balancing act. But I think if you look at just the way consumers are using credit, there are some warning signs. There are some flashing signs, particularly on the credit card front.
Having said that, Silvio, you know, holidays fast approaching. What would be your guess about consumer spending during this holiday season? You think they spend, even if they have to take on more debt to do so?
Well, I think there's definitely a desire to spend more, but I think a lot rests on how this election plays out. If you look at the data for the most recent period in September, credit cards in particular are flashing a lot of warning signs. Delinquencies were up across all products. Delinquencies were up on a 30 to 60, 90, and longer basis, really across every vintage of loans and age of delinquencies. Everything is flashing red. So I think consumers do want to spend more, but the reality is they're uncertain about how the election is going to play out. And depending on how that election plays out, especially the presidential election, that's going to have an impact on consumers' willingness to spend more. So the bottom line is it's uncertain. That's how consumers see it. That's how banks see it. As we get closer to the election and after the election, we're going to be able to give you some more insight on what's going to shape out for the balance of the holiday spending season.
Silvio, always great to see you and have you on the show. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me on, Josh.
Yeah, so the holidays right around the corner, as you know, which a lot of people like to spend, especially on gifts, for Christmas and everything. And especially for our younger generation and our generation, it might get a little bit worse and everything. So go ahead, Akeem, man. What's your take on, how, there might be more of a growing, debt when it comes to our young generation?
Man, I think we mentioned this before, but times are different compared to when we was growing up, bro. Our dads could make 25,000 and raise a whole house full of kids. That's not it today. Buying a car, not it. Unless you want to put yourself upside down. Car loans are now a typical car loan is 7 years. Rent is $2,500 in the ghetto. Milk is $5. Eggs is $6. You can, and the price of prostitutes went up too. So when we look at that, inflation is suffocating and hemorrhaging everywhere. So I could see why things are around and crime is on the uproar. So it's just but I'm always gonna say this. This is something you got to learn from the Chinese and the immigrants. I don't want to say this. And I landed with this. They're suffering from inflation, but not the way we Americans are doing. They've always lived below their means. They've always stacked their money. They don't have habits like us. We like to eat out all day. I'm spending $4 on a naked juice. Rich gang. I don't know. Like I'm telling you, this $4. What you might buy milk. This is $4. You know what I mean? So the immigrants don't have those type of habits that we have, and they've been able to, even in this economy, buy houses, open businesses. They're saving their money. So what else to say?
No, but good point. How can it seem like you're getting tired of the economy? You're not the only one either. And like I keep telling people, this election is very, very important because based on this, like whoever become president can also affect the economy. So people are like waiting to see who's going to be president, and that's including people that's also investing as well. So right now, if you look at the stock market, you can see like where people are putting their money into, and a lot of people are putting their money into mostly into AI and energy stuff that they know that the president, whoever going to be elected to, is going to be focusing on. But the economy is the number one thing, and I think right now people are struggling because like you stated, Hakeem, a lot of people don't understand the whole meaning of budgeting. They don't live below their means. They try to overspend even though they don't have it. Like the guy also mentioned the fact of how people are now behind on their credit card. I mean, a lot of people, credit card users are extremely high. I think it's up. I think close to 30%. Half of the American people are using their credit card, but they're not paying the total balance. So that shows you how much people are really, really struggling out here. I always tell people, even though people could cap on YouTube that they balling, they making all this money, when you really break it down, when you really break it down, you really hear these guys' stories. After they say they making quote unquote all this money, a lot of these YouTubers who are content creators are not going broke.
Yeah.
So that kind of shows you how everybody is really feeling this inflationary period. And I think the problem is that we living too much behind our means. So, over our means. So I think now we got to really sit down and really buckle down and say, okay, we got to really focus on the now and also the future. Cut back and progress to something better. But if not, If you're around the people that, especially around the holiday season, I always keep telling people always look for sale prices and stuff that's getting cut off high prices. I tell you right now, Target is cutting off a lot of high prices on some of the stuff, some of their goods. So a lot of people are planning to shop at Target during this holiday season. So hopefully other retail stores go the same route Target is doing. Go right ahead, Jordan.
For me, especially coming with the holidays, I think a lot of people suffer, not just black people, all people, they suffer from keeping up with the Joneses, especially with their kids. When Christmas comes, they gotta make sure they buy all the gifts. Or when they see somebody else buy something, they gotta buy, oh, you gonna buy that, I gotta buy for my kid, I gotta buy for my kid as well. I gotta double up on that as well. So and then and also with that, also the elections as well is coming up. You know, that's definitely going to define about how the economy looking up in the future and everything. And also, I think with people, what they do, especially coming to holidays and everything, they might spend so much on Christmas stuff, Hakeem, which they might not pay their rent and everything. But what's next year?
Yeah.
Income taxes. So that's I think what a lot of our generation, our generation, your generation do is that, hey, you know, especially holiday season, Christmas, New Year's, let me live in my moment. Let me live not worry about living by my means. Let me live in my moment. Tax season is next year, so I'm gonna spend all these. I'm gonna spend, swipe my credit card to I'm max on my credit card. But in January, I'm gonna pay it all off of my income taxes and everything. Which that's not the righteous thing to do, because it's not gonna look for your credit report. But anyways, and also with the social media and everything, with Facebook, Instagram, we see a lot of people live those they think they live in the lavish lifestyles, which they not really. For me, Hakeem, Ronnie, I can go up hiking and take a picture of a selfie of me. Take a picture of me looking overseas like I'm living that life. I mean, I am living a life, but I'm not living that life. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I get to enjoy hiking, looking at the view and everything. People like to say, "Oh, he must got money," all that type of stuff. Which I really don't have that money like that now. But I budget and I manage my best as the way I can. And the thing is like I like to do free things. Hiking is free, and I don't like to spend that much money on other things. If there's a lot of free stuff to do in LA, I'm going to do it, or I'm going to take my daughter or my wife. We're going to do some free things, and and that's what we do and everything. So, people, especially about this holiday season, I know you want to, spend on Christmas gifts and everything. And I know, what's New Year's, you want to, go to the club, spend a couple $100 on bottles, get drunk, spend $500 and everything, spend $500, and then that's the worst, when you want to go to the club, keeping up with the Joneses, we see somebody buying like buying a bottle or something like this. And then they gotta go. I'm sure. Tax season next year. Let me get a bigger bottle and everything. Like no, like I said, it's important to live below your means. It's very important to live below your means, because when you get to your 40s and 50s and we save up your money, you have more money in your bank than you have right now. That a lot of people don't have barely $200 in their bank account.
Facts.
So people, you must to learn, because the economy is going to get, more expensive. It never goes down. It always goes up. So living below your means, like Hakeem says, also budget, like Ronnie says, and then like I said, next 5 to 10 years, you'll see and say, hey, I'm glad that I saved some type of money. What's good, Ruthless Siege, man? Shout you out, boy.
Shout out to Muhammad. What's good, baby?
Salute,
Blessings
buddy.
in abundance. No, but like you stated, Jordan, live below your means, and not only that, even though you may save money in the bank account, make sure that money is making money for you. Just don't leave it in the bank. Don't leave it, okay. Even though you got money in a savings account, it's still appreciate value at a certain period of time, because the value of a dollar is going down. The way you can increase, of course, it's not financial advice, but the way you increase your finances is by investing or putting in a high yield savings account, which make it triple your money. Just don't leave it in the bank. Now banks are now offering high yield savings account on certain particular banks, so that's really good for certain Americans that who do enjoy saving their money. But that's a caveat to that. Shout out to Joe Don't Hurt Him, who's also in the building. Hakeem, he wrote a comment, say, spend your money on your priorities. You will save for the future and prepare when is others have not. That is facts. Facts. Why high say, but Jordan, why highs get thrill out of shopping and new vehicle every 2 years?
My wife don't. I don't know who you talking about. Not my wife. She don't. Me and my wife love to live with all our means. When it comes to our birthdays, you might go. We might go to the next level because we save so much money to do that. But usually we leave it
Preach,
about
Jordan.